Okay, and we should be on now. I love it when the frame rate goes to shit as soon as I start recording, but well, if you don't believe me, there we are. So anyway, this here is level 3, and did a bit of tinkering around with some of the settings, and what it kind of looks like by default is a bit more brown than it should, so I think there was some idea that got cut during the development of this level where you'd have like God rays over there, but I couldn't get that working in anything aside from the editor, so it got scrapped, which is rather unfortunate because I really wanted to show off the really cool light rays and kind of do some trippy shit in this level and the last one where it looks like it's both the sun and the moon are out at the same time, so it's day and night, literally at the same time. But anyway, what I kind of found was helpful for making a tutorial was getting people the time they needed to get acquainted with the world and the setting around them, and that's why I made 3 levels which kind of act as a tutorial. The reason why the second one repeats is because originally that was the first level, and the first level itself was actually made second, so I decided to do a level during the day, then during the night, then during the night again, then back to the day, just to keep the pacing up, and then you have the 5th level that's during the day, but then it gets overtaken by giant monstrous trees, which as you can see now are kind of small. They don't quite over-envelop the sky like it will later, but there's a few little fun Easter eggs. You can go over here, behind this car and in this tunnel, and that's poison ivy. Why are you running around in that? Maybe not so much an Easter egg as it is a funny detail. Now, obviously there's some of the quote-unquote poison ivy over here, but I couldn't do all of that because of Game Guru's little restrictions, so if you didn't see the cutscene, it says listen to the instructor, read the text, stop as needed, go into the trench ahead to start the tutorial. You can skip this tutorial by going into the tent on your right. The tutorial is advised first, or you can always just die clueless. Now, ahead is the trench, and to the right is the tent. And I kind of figured that giving a spotlight to the tent, in case most people who've ever played a first-person shooter game wanted to skip it, could go that way. If you were still confused as to what the hell's happening, you could get some more time to get adjusted to everything by going that way. So that's the way we're gonna go. Level 3, combat training.
Alright.
Now most levels do not have stamina, however in the case of this it actually does. And since our frame rate's not particularly good, there's a few fun things you can do, like turn off the water. And the vegetation as well. And you can just kind of do this fairly easily and on the fly. Now I'm getting like 60 frames, but I imagine what else is getting me is that view distance and the fog, which I could probably roll in a bit and turn that intensity up, and there we go. That's like, it's a little better. But you can fuck around with this game and make it look like Silent Hill straight up if you want. For the sake of just getting through this, I'm gonna run on through. Now I'm getting 60 frames. And that's what I feel like you should be able to do with this game, and why I really liked the technology behind this engine at first, especially. And there's also a reshade menu I added later on that kind of should be able to help with some aspects of the visuals, but you know, performance naturally takes a hit, so even though you might get 60, it's not going to look like it most times. you'll have tons of issues with frame pacing, jitters and stutters, and all kinds of lag and input lag, and issues with high DPI settings that are just baked into what is an horribly, horribly out-of-date engine from the 1990s, if not the 1980s, as far as I've found references to. Hell, it could be even the 70s. And I was able to take what was otherwise thought of as bad or, non-functioning and turn it into a roughly 2010 style Call of Duty first-person shooter horror game, single-handedly. And I figured that this engine was a piece of technology that was not being used correctly, because the most you'd get out of games in general was people who would just spend 5 minutes, make some asset flips, sell it on Steam for $10, done. They just take a default level verbatim, not make anything custom or unique, not make any music like I did, not make any sounds, not do any textures, not do anything. Just straight up one-to-one use a default level. Not even like make it look different, not even add some unique twist to it or nothing. No, just straight up use a level that is included with the engine, sell it for $10, call it like, I don't know, fucking Dead Guy Simulator 7000, and done. Print. Meanwhile, I've got details on the fucking knife. I've got weather, fucking God rays and other crazy shit, lighting, dramatic mood here, big fences. It's a custom level. I made this, but nobody really gave a shit, so you go on the you have to go to the shed to your right. You're the right, jackass. So just to make sure you're paying attention, I added funny little bits like that. And I think there was supposed to be something outside of the bounds of the map, like a dead dude's alien skull or something over here, but I think it got replaced with these buildings. Which, as you can see through here, you're going through like this abandoned town that was, it looks like there was something of an army base being set up over there, like people trying to recover some sort of buried town. In here is a storage shed. You jump over the propane, you can see that there's some stuff there, but otherwise you have to take the key, and if you don't, then you get soft locked. Unfortunately, I didn't have a better fix for that, so I just put a disclaimer there.
You can press.
And you can switch the fire mode. This has 2 scopes. This scope, and then this one. So that's pretty handy. You can also, unfortunately, kind of a weird thing with Game Guru is the flashlight is behind the scope. So weirdly enough, it actually can make it harder to see the silhouettes of bad guys. If we like move the fog out a bit, as we can tell, they're all there now. So in this training exercise, you have to shoot all the bad guys with the gun. And don't worry, they're totally harmless. These are not people by any means. So let's move the fog out a bit. Shoot those. And unfortunately, no matter what, it always kind of lagged here. So I guess that just makes sense if you blow shit up. I have yet to do a run of this where the physics on the little wooden huts I made have not lagged, so what you do is you snipe all these guys if you want. Oh yeah, little detail. Gun can also jam. But your best bet is to aim for center mass. Now they're pretty pissed off, so I'm going to throw a grenade at them and completely miss it. So shoot him with the pistol. There we go. They're all dead. So if I turn the water back on, I'm going to be able to see some cool shit up ahead. Now, one thing I do wish I could have done was make them use the actual enhanced weapons and you could pick them up, but that was an easy way to crash the engine, because it really, anytime you did custom shit in here, it would start this almost invisible memory leak timer that I had to avoid at all costs. So usually there was a threshold to so many amounts of custom content the engine could handle at any one point, that I found out the hard way by having it quite literally brick my entire Windows installation around 2019 one time. So I basically said, okay, well, if it's not going to let me do custom shit, I guess I'll just have to use whatever the fuck is in here. So it looks, unfortunately, generic and kind of low rate. So it's like, okay, well, if I can't make my own shit, what can I actually use? And then I decided to make custom textures for fences and other, you know, guns and shit, and that's unfortunately the best I can do. Lighting and basically everything else except for models, and like that's so everything except for the models in here I had some hand in doing. The sounds for the gun. The gun itself, though, was a DLC pack that I bought, so some shit just couldn't be undone or redone, even if I wanted to. So you go through the tunnel, and this here is the origin for the Three of Spades. Of course, you of all people should know best that a flashlight is a pretty good murder weapon. Anyway, you told me that before I died. Or in other words, the origin for the third eye on the Three of Spades is Kent hitting drill instructor Spade in the head with the flashlight. So you go through the wall like Harry Potter, and here we are. Welcome to Hogwarts, School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Camilla lucidly. So we can see here, Camilla lucidly, dream of God. Wonder who that was. That's just a, you know, generic tombstone asset, but that's what it's supposed to say anyway, Camilla lucidly. So we go through here. And in we go through the veil of darkness. You traitor! They'll have your head for this! Mark my words! So, that's Phil, and Phil is fucking dead, and behind him is this ominous sort of surreal statue sort of thing set up where there's two angels and the Grim Reaper, and Marcus right here holding a small bowl, and there's a light above him. Foreshadowing, if you will. Very ominous. We'll find out what that means in the next part.